Hey gamers, it's G from the corner. Now, 2024 was quite the year for gaming. A lot happened in the industry, and a lot of games came out, because that is what always happens every year, despite what some people think. There were a lot of games. I played so many games this year, whether they came out this year or not. I played a ton of old classics for the first time, a ton of new games that I think will go down as classics for the first time. And so, much like last year, I figured why not go through my games of the year, my top 5 games that I played in the year of 2025. Funnily enough, they all technically released this year, so no Picross 3D, no little surprises like that. Let's get into my personal favorite picks of the year. For my 5th favorite game of 2024, we're going to be talking about Penny's Big Breakaway. That's right, the 3D platformer from the Sonic Mania team that dropped unceremoniously at a Nintendo Direct in February. This game was fantastic. You know, I played quite a few 3D platformers this year, quite a few new ones this year, actually, and of all of them, this one wasn't quite my favorite. You know, there was another game that we'll get to very shortly that did kind of edge it out. But man, I can't get over how much I love this game. The aesthetics, the gameplay, physics, and feel, and of course, that soundtrack. This is the best soundtrack of the year, if not my favorite soundtrack of the decade so far. T. Lopes, Christian Whitehead, Sean Biazzo. Was it Biazzo? I probably got the name wrong. I don't remember exactly. They all cooked so hard on this soundtrack. This soundtrack is just immaculate. I absolutely loved it. The only things keeping it from placing higher are, of course, the issues I mentioned in my review earlier this year. The stages are very similar to one another. They will have 12 entire worlds with 3 to 4 stages each, but all of said stages will look identical. Really, you're getting 12 distinct areas and 3 marathon gauntlets tied to those themes and gimmicks. The boss fights were also pretty alright. I didn't really talk much about those in the review. You know, they kind of peak right away with the first 2 and then kind of go a bit downhill in my mind. But honestly, not really, none of them were bad. They were all fun. They all got the job done. But overall, the game is fantastic. If you haven't checked it out already, I highly recommend at least giving the demo a shot. I'm sure the demo is available on Steam and Switch and the other consoles. I forgot it came out on literally everything. Yeah, game's fantastic. High recommendation. Let's move on to the next game on the list, though. And oh, would you look at that, it's the 3D platformer that just so ranked a little higher, Astrobot, the game of the year, according to the jury of the Game Awards. I think the game's fantastic, and, you know, as much as I wanted to put Penny's a bit higher for just the vibes and the physics and all that, I can't deny this game is fantastic. When your closest comparison is Super Mario Galaxy, you know you've done something right. This game has so much charm, so much personality, so many cool level themes and gimmicks, but I don't know, you know, there's something about it that's keeping me from putting it up there with the greats. I think it's really just the theming. This is the closest thing PlayStation has ever had to a Wii Sports equivalent series, basically a series that kind of reps the console and even the brand itself to an extent. The thing is, the Wii Sports series actually had kind of, not original characters, because you were just told to make your characters in a sort of character maker, but at least it had like a central locale, you know? It wasn't like you were playing the sports on a Wii with actual Wii remotes that turned into tennis rackets or had little holographic effects or something, and there were Nintendo characters around every corner. That's what this game does. You play as a little robot who is colored like the PS5, and then he saves a bunch of robots who are dressed as PlayStation characters, and you ride around on the PS5. There isn't, like, much character or personality to the characters themselves. It's all the cute references. Like, okay, the Astrobots are cute and silly, and the main villain is goofy and gnarly, you know? Like, there's not really much to any of them, but it's that, look, guys, it's PlayStation that kind of carries the game. And I mean, I don't know how I feel about that necessarily. You know, I was reading articles about it when it came out, and I was like, what are these guys talking about? But then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, there isn't really much of an identity here. You know, Sony was probably cool with getting this greenlit because it was a celebration of PlayStation. They can use it to fan service literally everything. So you convince people to play this game because there's a character from, I don't know, some dead franchise like Tomba in it, and get them to play off of their fondness for that, despite the fact that he's just a collectible that you find in a level. That doesn't take away from this game at all, though. Again, gimmicks in the gameplay, the aesthetics, the themes, you know, mechanics, all that stuff is all fantastic. And it was such a joyride to play through, you know. I really, as much as I want to put it a bit lower than some other games that had more originality, this game just has such a high level of polish and care put into it that I can't deny its placement on this list. I'm sorry. Okay, so number 3 is a bit of a weird pick. It's not cheating in the sense that it's technically just old games, because whatever, I played these games for the first time this year, but it's kind of multiple games in a collection, but not really. Okay, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. That's a mouthful. I didn't get around to reviewing this one back in September or November when the physical came out, but hot damn, this collection, okay? It's a collection of 7 classic Capcom arcade titles featuring Marvel characters, including Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2. Now, I'm going to be real. If there was a standalone re-release of Marvel 2 released this year, then this game would be in that spot, because Marvel 2 is incredible. Marvel 2 is one of the greatest fighting games I have ever played in my life, which is such a no-duh statement. I mean, come on, it's Marvel vs. Capcom 2, widely regarded as one of the greatest of all time. Of course, all the old heads are now talking about how, actually, back when it came out, it wasn't that well received, but that just kind of happens with every fighting game nowadays. Like, you know, it's going to have that honeymoon phase, and then that phase, oh, it actually sucks, and then everyone loves it, and it's the best thing ever. Marvel 2 has remained that way for at least 15 years now. The game is so fast and frantic. There's so many characters. Despite them all being asset reuses, they all feel so much fun. Okay, not every single character, but you'll find your team. And your team is not going to be the same as your friend's team or your opponent's team or anybody's team. You're going to play your team and you're going to have a great time, unless you're just playing top tiers. But even then, it's still a fun time. The game, again, is fast. It feels great to control. That's the thing with a lot of these older fighting games. You wouldn't expect them to feel this tight and amazing. Like, this game feels better than Marvel 3, in my opinion. Which probably sounds like sacrilege to some, but you know what? Whatever. This is my thought. I went back to play Marvel 3 after playing like 20 hours of Marvel 2, and I was like, I don't like how this feels much at all. Marvel 2 is phenomenal. You know, the aesthetics too. Oh man, the music slaps. You know, it's got that early 2000s arcade fighting game feel where it's like, okay, 2D sprites on a 3D background, funky music. It really hits all the spots, but that just leaves the other 6 games in this collection. I'll be real, I haven't even touched Punisher. Out of everything else, though, my favorites have to be X-Men vs. Street Fighter and Marvel 1. I don't know, those games just kind of feel the best to me. But in my mind, these are all bonuses. Again, if Marvel 2 just came out on its own this year, it would definitely be placing in my top 5, regardless. But the fact that the only way to really play this game nowadays is in this amazing collection, I mean, like, sign me the heck up, and sign everybody else up. I was at a game store with some friends on Boxing Day, and literally my friend was looking at Marvel on the shelf, and the guy there was like, you gotta buy it. I don't care whatever else you were thinking of buying. If that's better, it's not better. This is the best. And I you know what? 100% agree with that statement. Marvel 2 is gas, as the kids say. So I'll be 100% honest. The real challenge with my list this year was deciding everything but the top 2, because I knew for a fact that these next 2 games were going to be this high no matter what. First of these games is Super Mario Party Jamboree. I am a Mario Party fiend. I have talked about this over and over again. You know, I love it. My friends love it. We play Mario Party so much. And, you know, a new Mario Party that actually truly feels like it's up there with the classics. This game is my 3rd favorite game in the entire series, which is insane. If you told me that I'd be saying that about any Mario Party that were to come out in the future like 6 years ago, I'd call you crazy. But Jamboree is just that good. So many boards, and all of them are hits. A super fun item system. There's just a ton of items, you know. Again, as we've mentioned before, the only real issues are the pacing of the game, and, you know, it can get a little too RNG happy. I mean, it depends on who you're playing with and, you know, what board you're on and how the game's going. But we've just ran into quite a few unlucky games where chance time kind of did decide the game at the end. But that's just Mario Party for you, you know? There's that competitive edge, but there's also that crazy wackiness. And I love the crazy wackiness. So, yeah, this game is absolutely incredible. Like I said in the review, if you're looking for a party game on the Switch, you need to buy this game. It's so much fun. It will give you so many hours of enjoyment. I can't wait to see what they do next, honestly. I can't wait. Another 2-3 years, whatever the current release cycle is for them. And with that, my game of the year 2024 is, without a shadow of a doubt, Rivals of Aether 2. I know. What am I even talking about? I don't even know what Rivals of Aether 2 is. It wasn't up for any of the awards at the Game Awards showcase or whatever. You know, it's funny because this game, in my mind and all of my friends' minds, is just a masterpiece, amazing, insane fighting game. But there's so many people who love video games And even our big fighting game heads that have just not tried this game out yet, which is crazy to me. This is an incredible fighting game that will go down in the future with some of the greats. You know, it's crazy looking at this list, right? Like, what the heck is this guy thinking, putting a Mario Party in the top 5, 2 fighting games in the top 5, and one that's just a bunch of old ones because he never played them back in the day, and 2 3D play. I know, this is a crazy list. This is my list, though, and damn it, this game is good. This game feels so good. The biggest issue with the quote-unquote platform fighter genre is that it hasn't really felt like a genre, so to speak. The only entrants we've ever gotten into it have been, Super Smash Bros., which is the originator, and either A, company trying to make a quick buck by making a Smash clone with licensed characters, or B, an incredibly small indie game that usually ends up flying completely under the radar to most people. And that was what Rivals of Aether was for the longest time. It was always the game that was brought up as, look guys, these people are making a Smash clone, but it looks like a real fun fighting game. And here we are 10 years later, and there's a second game, and it looks incredible. It's going to get 10 years of support. It's pushing boundaries for fighting games as a whole by actually making the DLC characters entirely free. That's so crazy to me, and I'm so happy they're doing that. And of course, the game plays like a dream. I enjoy watching Melee and playing casual Ultimate, alright? Melee is too fast of a game and was not designed for genuine competitive play. You have to literally break the game to get good at it. It is not a fun game to play in a competitive sense. Whereas Ultimate is not a fun game to play in a competitive sense because it is too slow. Granted, obviously it's better than previous Smash attempts after Melee, but it still doesn't hit the right spot, You watch Melee and you watch this game and you're like, that is not how Ultimate feels. Ultimate's a fun casual party game. I'll gladly play it if my friends want to prop it out as the party game of the night. But as a genuine fighting game, no dice, never. I don't feel like it deserves to be called that with 80-something characters and multiple broken, disgusting characters who will never be fixed because the game has no support for patches anymore because they've already moved on to the next game very clearly. Meanwhile, Rivals of Aether 2 is a game that feels amazing and was designed to actually be played like this. It's so fast, it's so frenetic, so many characters have such cool movesets, and there's so much stuff to do. It's so easy to do cool things in this game, man. It's so much fun. It's one of those games, fighting games, where it's literally just the fighting, right? And as much as people want to complain that there isn't a million side modes in every fighting game, do you really need them? Games like Guilty Gear Strive, this, and to a much lesser extent, but still kind of an extent because that's all you're really doing when you boot the game up nowadays, Smash Ultimate, do not really prioritize side content and just focus on the main meal, because the main meal is really what matters in a game like this. You can beg all you want for Subspace Emissary 2, but you're never going to actually like it. You'll still call it worse than the original no matter what. So please, let me sit back and enjoy my Rivals of Aether 2, okay? They're bringing my main back next month. Endless is coming to the game in January. I'm so excited to be playing as him, and you're definitely going to see me try and strut this game out on the corner plays, or maybe via a review or something else come the new year, okay? This game is fantastic, and it's here to stay. I can't wait for more people to get access to it when it comes to console, and I just can't wait to get back to playing it, honestly. I need to actually get a decent placement in ranked mode, okay? So with that, we close the book on 2024. Those are my top 5 games of the year. Much like last year, I actually went ahead and ranked every single game I played this year. That's right, the original Animal Crossing barely missed out on being in top 5. Oh well. With that said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you all had a great 2024, and I thank you all, every single one of you, all however many thousand of you that tuned in and watched any video I put out in the last year. I thank you all so much for being here and keeping yourselves cornered, because we got plenty planned for 2025, all right? Switch 2 is on the horizon. There's going to be plenty of videos on that. If you guys weren't already sick of me talking about it last year, there's going to be plenty of concrete things to talk about. I can't wait to cover all that. Of course, there's going to be so many crazy games coming out. I'm so excited for games already in the first few months of the year. But, yep, I think we're just going to wrap things up here. Keep yourselves cornered for more amazing content like this, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.